The NFL season is here, and the Lockdown Defense Sports Network welcomes you to another NFL season. We are here to give you a front row seat to the pulse of the NFL. Join us every Tuesday night as we break down the latest news, dissect the hottest headlines, and fire off fearless predictions that might shape the future of the league. From the locker room drama to game-changing plays, we're just not watching football, we're living it. As the entire hit squad with young RG Robert Garcia, Coach Mike Dubb, the real AG Alex Givens, and yours truly, Coach Defense, joins forces with the NFL Nation Live crew, Ref Guru, Violator, and the Saudi pirate himself, Captain Jack Rackham. So buckle up, because this isn't your average recap. This is the Lockdown Blitz, where the takes are bold, the insights are gritty, and the passion runs deep. Let's go. All my heavy hitters and lockdown defenders, welcome to the Lockdown Blitz. I'm your host, Coach Defense. Alongside with me is the hit squad, young RG Robert Garcia, real AG Alex Givens, and NFL Nation Live representative Captain Jack Rackham. Gentlemen, what's going on in the building?
By tuning into the Lockdown Defense Sports Network.
Gentlemen, week 6 is here. Week 5 was a doozy. That's all I can really say. We appreciate indulgence throughout our delays. So we had a couple of little technical difficulties here, but we're here for you to bring it to you live and direct as we always do each and every Tuesday night. But gentlemen, man, let's go around the room. I know it's some somber moments in this arena right now. Not a lot to talk about as far as our own teams, but we're here to talk about NFL in its entirety. So, young RG, what's going on, good brother? How you feeling out there?
Feeling good, man. Feeling good. Obviously, like you mentioned, a bit of a rough week for all our teams. So, just gotta regroup and have some trades to talk about. Already in the hot market for the trades. Not even at the deadline yet. So, very exciting.
Yes, indeed. Real AG, let's give us good brother. How you feeling? What's going on out there?
Doing good, Coach. Wish I could say that about my squad in Week 5, but hey, we're gonna just move past that. It is what it is, and we're on to Week 6.
We're on to Cincinnati. That's right.
Yep.
That's right. I hear you. The man, the myth, the legend himself, Captain Jack Rackham. What's going on, good sir? How you feeling?
Like crap, but then again, I'm actually resigned to the fact that the Raiders were fed an inferior PR product BS. So now we got to figure out what's really going on, and then we'll figure out what's going on with the team. But as we said in pregame, which will not be repeated here, I am actually kind of elated that everybody else on this panel is a big fat loser this weekend. I'm just going to say that.
Misery loves company. I understand. It's all good. But yes, indeed. So Coach Mike Dubb, Ref Guru and Violator here in spirit. They're off doing business, on travel and things of that nature. So we'll wish them good brothers well, and we'll hopefully see them next week. But let's jump into it right now, gentlemen. Let's get right into it. I know we're a little bit behind, our fans been waiting, so we're going to get right into it, man. So we'll start off, since we don't have Ref this week, we'll get right into Hit Squad headlines.
Hit Squad headlines.
All right, so let's talk about some headlines today. So a lot of going on in the NFL, man. As you saw in our short, if you watched it earlier today on our channel, it's a lot going on with the NFL, to say the least. It's a topsy-turvy world. I mean, I think my line was, we did everything we thought we knew. We don't know. At this point, we just don't know. So, when it comes down to the idea of what's happening with the NFL, it's a topsy-turvy world. Things we predicted. Again, we do our due diligence, we do our analysis, we do our research. We are very invested in NFL, and all our analysis and all our predictions were all wrong.
It did not matter.
That's the shakiness of the NFL, unfortunately. So So let's top it off and let's talk about the Lions, man. I mean, do we have to get into it? You know, we kind of, I would say we wrote them off, but we were kind of skeptical what they were going to do. But I guess the question for the panels is, are the Lions the favorite at this moment? You know, are we talking about what they look like in the past 3 to 4 weeks outside of week one? The kind of was, lying in the weeds week one, but they seem to be, with everybody else kind of, taking steps back. They kind of seem to be bubbling to the surface. So, start with young RG. How do you feel about the Lions in their ascension to the top of the NFC so far?
Yeah, I mean, not much of an ascension, obviously, with a team that's been very competitive in the NFC the last couple of years. Putting them in that same category with the Eagles, the Bucks, and I'm trying to think of that other division right now. The Rams, Niners, kind of back and forth between those two teams, but they definitely kind of been right in that firm group as far as NFC contenders. And it's, we all kind of thought with the change in both coordinators this offseason, we expected a bit of a step back from the Lions this week, or this year, I should say. Week one, we thought that was the case, with the rejuvenated Packers team with Micah. And then we kind of see later on after that, you know what, the Lions are still damn good. Packers might not be as good as we thought. That week one game might be a bit of a fluke. I'm sure Lions are looking forward to Thanksgiving for their revenge matchup against them. But yeah, I mean, Lions, when you have that great of an offense, it's not turning the ball over. Goff only got 2 picks so far in the year. They've only lost 1 fumble. And by the way, Goff's 2 picks were to Cleveland, which many are saying is the best defense in the league right now, and week 1 against Green Bay. So like I mentioned, after that week 1, they've kind of turned things around. Defense is 4th this year in takeaways, so they're getting the ball back to that insane offense. And I mean, as long as they can stay healthy, man, Hutchinson is probably going to win comeback player of the year if he keeps going on this pace. And if he exceeds this pace, he might even win defensive player of the year because, man, he has been insane, has at least 1 sack in all of their wins so far this year.
Indeed. Yeah, I didn't have the Browns being one of the top defenses on my bingo card either. So that's another one that you brought up. So, yeah, I definitely hear you there. So yeah, I definitely like what you said. Again, with the Lions are bringing to the table so far, definitely the cream is starting to rise to the top already, and we're only in week 6. So yeah, Captain Jack, how you feel about the Detroit Lions?
Detroit, le champion. Yeah, where's my damn beret? My God, I have to have my beret. Screw it, I'm gonna have to do my regular voice for this. Okay, I would have to do, but. 2 picks. Wow, that's only 150 amount of picks that Gino. Oh, wait, Gino just threw another pick. Okay, so that's 10 for the year. Yeah, I had to throw that. But yeah, no. Wait, oh no, that was a fumble. So that's just another, thing that he did. So anyway, yeah, back to Detroit. And again, I apologize. I would normally have my here. I'll do this. Can this suffice? Works. Okay. This is the beret of Detroit Campion Leon, the champion of the NFC Norte, like they say in Espanol. I'll mix up a couple languages. Anyway, the point is that yeah, we thought that they were going to take a step back or 2 or 3, and then they only did like a hopscotch where they did like the one. What's the wing where you put the one leg in and your one leg out? That's
Hokey
pokey. Yeah, they hokey pokey the first week against the Packers, but then they came out like they are for real.
Yeah,
like I said, RG said it. The Eagles are where they should be. The Lions are saying, "Oh, you thought we were going to go away? Well, we're not." And then, God, I hate that saying that the fake Pirates are real, but they are. But they lost to the Eagles, so at least I was correct there. And but the way that they came back, and I didn't see the full game against the Seahawks, but the Lions are going to be at the end. They're going to the playoffs. Again, only like one quarter of the season done, but we were wrong overall, saying, "Oh yeah, they're gonna be back." But no, look at Detroit to turn the corner and do all the good things that we thought that they should have done the last 2 years. They keep building those steps. And maybe you're going to say we're going to win in spite of everybody leaving on us. I like that.
Okay. All right. Real AG Ellis Givens, how do you feel about the Detroit Lions and what their chances looking like through 6 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, Well, yeah, and I looking pretty good for him in week 6 too.
Oh, really? Okay. Okay.
I mean, I don't know. We'll see on my Kingdom Keys video.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, really, I know we all kind of consistently thought NFC North was up for grabs. Lions taking a step back. Kind of thought that after week 1, but again, week 1's kind of the Wild West. Everyone's trying to figure out what they have in a real time setting. But yeah, I mean, their offenses, they're right where they should be, and barring any health concerns, I think they're going to be in it to win it at the end of the day when it's all all said and done in the playoffs. Because I mean, their offense is still very explosive, very prolific. They have almost 700 rushing yards as a team through 5 games, so they still are doing that. Really haven't lost any of their, I guess what their prowess on offense with losing Ben Johnson. So you couple that with, like RG said, it was a stat I was going to use, but yeah, their defense is top 5 in takeaways. So I mean, creating more opportunities for their offense, and an offense that's averaging almost 35 points a game right now. Like, yeah, things are looking good. But
Damn.
I would note that they really haven't played a very good defense yet. So I think this trio,
The Browns, come on. Hey,
well, yeah, I mean, okay, take that one out. Yeah, but outside of that, it was the Bears, the Ravens. Like, come on, the Ravens,
and then the Packers game they lost.
The Bengals. Like, so, this stretch here, they have the Chiefs, Bucks, and Vikings. I think we'll definitely figure out if the offense is as prolific as it's looking right now.
Okay. Yeah. I was skeptical like everybody else about what the coordinator situation would look like, but I got to give Dan Campbell a lot of credit. And I think that the genesis or the foundation of what's going on in Detroit is all him. I mean, like I said, if you can just roll over coordinator after coordinator after coordinator and still have success, in the last 3 to 4 years, and that speaks volumes to his coaching ability, his culture setting, and just getting the ultimate, effort out of his players week in and week out. The boys play hard. They play hard since he's got there. People thought he was goofy about biting kneecaps and doing all these things when he first landed in Detroit, but hey, it's paying off. I mean, people that bought in, they're locked in, and I'll argue some players, give me the vibe like they don't want to play for anybody but Dan Campbell. So hey, he's doing big things out there, and I definitely think that it will continue. Where they, will land and will they ultimately, finish out in the NFC is probably remain to be determined, because, things shift and rearrange. We see it week to week, injury after injury. Things completely shift in power rankings, from day to day. So I would say that, if they are, pretty healthy when it comes down to, the idea of what's going on with their roster, and they're not completely decimated by injury, I think they they definitely should be there at the end, and again, we'll talk about, we may get into it later on about the Eagles and things of that nature, but if the Eagles are the Super Bowl champs and how their offense is looking, I'm not convinced, and again, to RG's point, I think the Packers, may be a little bit of a overreacting, moment because they got Micah and, things of that nature, they got to prove it themselves. So yeah, I mean, and we'll talk about it later as well. Tampa Bay is silently and, making a lot of noise. People aren't paying attention to them at all.
No.
So I do think they can hold their weight against all of those teams I listed. So yeah, I definitely believe they will be, in the conversation, at the end of the day, towards the end of the season. So we'll see how things go down the road. Myth Rest comment. What did it say? What did it say?
Oh, just he's in the chat.
Okay. Okay.
Questions, yeah.
Yes, you got any questions for Ref why he's here, but please do so. Give him a shout out, and if you got any officiating questions in regards to what happened over the weekend. What's going on, Ed? I see you out there as well.
Actually, I got one, and only because I want to say it was a very important play in the game that I saw last night with the Jags and the Chiefs, is when Mahomes threw the interception. And you had what was it, the 99-yarder? They had a Chiefs player streaking down the field, and I thought, wow, this guy is actually going to catch the guy that got the interception. But probably the best block of the night, and I don't know if any of you guys caught that, was the fact that the one Jaguar saw him out of the corner of his eyes and kind of peeled back and chicken winged him enough to get him off his stride. Because if that guy would have caught the guy from behind, would it have been a legal, because he was out of bounds, and then he came back in. So
Uh-huh.
I was going to ask if he would have caught him, would it have been a flag for the guy going out of bounds and come back in? Because remember, sometimes you say you have to establish your position or whatnot in such a cause, but when the guy chicken winged him, he went back out of bounds again. So that's my only question. I know it's like a what if, but I was looking for that. And again, the Jaguars player that made that block saved that game in that respect because that was a touchdown instead of just a long return.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It was definitely a game changing block for sure. And I think it's a little bit nuanced in what you're asking, Cap. From my perspective, I think that it was one of those things where you have to establish yourself back in. Like if you get knocked out of bounds, and this is mainly on special teams, if you get knocked out of bounds, you have to fight your way back or try to reestablish yourself back into the field of play if you try to make a play on the ball or the ball carrier. However, in regards to him tackling him, I think that he could come back in and then point and tackle him. I don't think that would have been an issue. But of course, the ref can clarify that for us.
Well, yeah, the ref is saying that the player, he was out of bounds on the play. And I didn't, like I said, we don't know how he went out of bounds, but it seemed like he went out of bounds. Like, remember how you got you're in traffic and doing this is illegal. You see all the traffic blocked up and you go on the outside on the shoulder. Yeah. It looked like he was going on the outside of the shoulder, and the guy was fast. I don't know if it was Worthy or another very Thornton. Okay, yeah. So yeah, both those guys could burn. So if he went out of bounds and then he came because he was like evading traffic, it looked to me like he was evading traffic and going back in. That's what I was. Okay. Thank you. That's what I thought.
There you go. All right. There it is. Okay. So good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. Yeah, that was an interesting play. Like I said, that's definitely. I don't know if it's not unprecedented. I guess you can say because I'm sure it happened before, but it was very front and center to your point, Cap. How you can see him streaking down the sideline, and he had an opportunity to get him if the guy didn't block him. I'm glad he saw him out of the corner of his eye that he could kind of give him a shove so he wouldn't impede the play. Because I think he would have caught Greg Lloyd. Man, as fast as Greg Lloyd was moving, I think he still would have caught him because Tyquan Thornton runs a 4.240. So yeah,
Thornton was zooming. I said now that we know who it is, Thornton was zooming on that play.
He was moving. He was DK Baker there. Or DK. Yeah, I had that reversed.
Yeah, down the sideline. So yeah, definitely give him credit for the effort. But yeah, this came up a little bit short. So yeah, I definitely agree with that. All right, so let's move on. Let's talk about the AFC. Some surprising teams on that side of the ball too. We talked about the Lions and being quote unquote, the favorites, or are they the favorites in NFC? So let's talk about the Colts and the Jags. Like, are the Colts and the Jags a threat in the AFC? Colts keep winning, and again, they were a kick away from being undefeated at this point. That was an interesting, dynamic, but they've been playing good ball for the first 5 weeks. The Jags, they're coming out of clear obscurity. We kind of kicked their back in regards to, their goofiness in the offseason with the Leon Cohen, Dirty Mac in, and, him being, going from Tampa to Jags and back to Tampa like he was dating his mistress on the side. It was weird. But again, they're playing good ball again. They're 4-1 as well. So, let's go in reverse order. Let's talk to AG first. What do you think about the Colts and Jags? Are they a threat, in the AFC, the way they're playing ball right now?
I think both can be for different reasons. Like Jags obviously have a very good defense, a very opportunistic defense. I mean, leads the NFL in created turnovers with 14 added to it last night, unfortunately. And Colts just seem to have, I think Jags have the better defense. Colts have the better offense. And it's going to be interesting to see how their first matchup against each other goes. Because, those are obviously your two front runners for the AFC South. But I think if I had to pick one, and I promise I'm not being a hater just because of the loss. Hats off to the Jags. All right, let me talk, Cap. Damn. Hats off to the Jags for the win, but I'm not sold on Trevor Lawrence and their offense being able to, be efficient and prolific in the playoffs when time comes. Even that last minute drive, like he fell over and lucked into a scrambled touchdown. He wasted so much clock with, a minute 40 to have to win. He got a delay of game, like in a very crucial time of the game. It's just, those are things you don't see a championship offense doing. So I think when that, yeah, like Ed's saying, I just don't think he has quite the talent to do it in the playoffs, but they have a good defense. And then the Colts are kind of the reverse of that.
Okay. All right. Captain, what you got on the Jags and the Colts chances in the AFC?
Well, again, if they both continue to play like they are, then they both, one of them will win the division. The other one should be a wild card. And I will predicate my decision on who's for real based upon how the Raiders play against the Jaguars in a couple weeks, because then it would be, I can see how each of them play. Now, granted, it was like, and I said this on my show, there, shameless plug, watch my show too, damn it. Okay, there you go. I said that the Raiders had a Pop Warner JV, not even a Pop Warner team, but a junior varsity Pop Warner team go up against the Colts. And it was the stupid plays, like the punt block 2 weeks in a row, 2 kicks blocked, was a brand new scheme that they just put on the team last week. And I watched AJ Cole leave the field because he left right in front of me. He was limping horribly. So I don't know if the Raiders are going to go out and get a punter this week, but if you just look on that, it's things like that says that they are a JV squad as of right now. And again, we as Raider Nation and the fans were sold a bill of crap by ownership. Okay, I'm not laying it all on Gino. I'm not laying it all on the coaching staff. But when you put things together, when you have a coach, I apologize. I'm supposed to be talking about the Colts and the Jags. I apologize. But the Colts look like a really good team. But the score was close before that pump block, and then it went downhill from that. The Jags looked really good. They're opportunistic, like Alex was saying. Yeah, it was a fumble-rooski type of touchdown, but it was a touchdown. It's what the effing result is. You know, if you have a slapstick comedy Keystone Cop touchdown, it's still 6 points on the board, and it doesn't matter. Al Davis said it best: just win, baby. I think, though, that both teams can show their mettle, and that's METTLE for all you people that think I'm saying MEDAL. They can show their mettle in the playoffs, and I think that they can continue to win. Because when you win as a team, it inspires and it keeps growing, and you get the growth of what you can be. And that's why I think that it's very important that these teams are showing what they can do this far in the season.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. Young RG, what you got on the Colts and the Jags success so far?
Yeah, I mean, definitely did not have, as DZ mentioned, did not have 2 AFC South teams on my bingo card this year as contenders 5 weeks through the year.
Right.
But, you know, if you look at both teams, this is why we preach defense and run game can win you games. You don't even necessarily need an all-star quarterback to win games in the regular season, because both teams right now have a top 10 run game and top 10 defenses in terms of points per game allowed. I personally, again, kind of like what AG said, I'm siding more. I put more trust in the Colts over the Jags, because the Jags, as well as they've played this season and as well as that defense has performed this season, they are winning in spite of Trevor. He's thrown 5 picks on the season. His only game this season with multiple throwing touchdowns was a loss to the Bengals when Browning led that team to a win. So I just really, it's like Alex said, like it's tough for me to put faith into Trevor and to the Jags, because when the playoffs do arrive and the time does come, you're going to have to throw the ball. When the run game is shut down and it comes down to your star quarterback needing to make a play, I cannot even believe I'm saying this right now, but I trust Daniel Jones more in that situation.
I'm glad you said that, because
Trevor Lawrence.
I was like, he's not about to say that, is he?
Yeah, he is. But he is, though.
He did.
He said it.
People would think if you showed me a video of me saying this, 3 months ago, I would have been like, what drugs was I on before that video? Because there's no way that I'm saying that. But that's where we are in the season right now. Daniel Jones is a more trustworthy QB than Trevor Lawrence.
Wow. Okay. So I guess what y'all telling me is that I need to mandatory drug test the team after this show is over. Like, just the NFL
Man.
will show up and randomly give you guys a test.
We
We're
gotta
all-
drug test the script writer, man, because I don't know what the hell is going on.
Something's up. Yeah, I have questions about both quarterbacks, and I'm still not selling my stock on the Texans yet. So we could have 3 viable teams in this division vying for the top once everybody gets their, act together, I guess you can say. The
Yeah.
Texans kind of had a made right game this past week as well, so they look pretty good. Walking all over the, the Ravens. But yeah, so I definitely believe that
Jacksonville Jesus
Wow.
is great.
That's a good one, Kev. That's a good one. Indiana Jones versus Jacksonville Jesus. That's a good one. Yeah, and again, you got the phenom CJ Stroud, bringing up the rear, quote unquote. So I think that it's going to be interesting to see, how they play each other. Let me say it that way. When the Texans, Colts, and Jags really get to going at each other, that'll probably be the line in the sand or the delineation whether or not, who's going to be the top dog in this division. And, if the other division don't get their act together, hell, it could be
For real.
teams out of the AFC South again. And we didn't have
Jags
that
did
at
beat the
all.
Texans already. So
Right. So
Well, wait. Remember, the Titans are in that division, so it's the who sucks more, the Titans or the Raiders, next week coming at you on NFL.
There you go. There you go. So get that ad off. Yeah, good job, Cap. Good job. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man. But they definitely have shown more than we thought. Again, I still think there's some clunkiness in Jacksonville to our points. I do agree with that. Again, I'm still not sold. I'm just it's like the Sam Darnold conversation all over again from last year. Like everybody was praising Sam Darnold after 3-4 weeks. He was looking like the MVP, right? And he slowly but surely came down to earth, and as the season came on, as the season went on. But he still had a good season. But can Trevor Lawrence or Daniel Jones do the same type of thing? And it could come down to their coaching. They both have they both got new coaches. I mean, if you put it for all intents and purposes, they both got brand new coaches. So it could be the good marriage of the coordinator / head coach and the quarterback is finally making its it's coming to its due, and they're finally fulfilling their potential. But overall, man, I'm just a wait and see for me. Again, I'm holding out hope for the Texans and that defense, but we'll see. Hopefully they're not too far behind already, because they win a team by team ball. The Jags and the Colts are winning, by team football. There's not one person carrying the load. So we'll see how things roll. But it's a conversation for sure. It's a conversation. Definitely that.
that's a good point.
Hey, great point, Kev. I like that. Okay. All right. So let's move on down the line. Let's talk about quarterbacks. If since we're on the topic, right? Let's talk about quarterbacks. There's some quarterbacks that have been cast off by many. And they're back in the conversation. The aforementioned Daniel Jones being one of them. So these quarterbacks in this listing here that we have, Dak Prescott, Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, and Daniel Jones, have all been cast off by many teams. The Cowboys and fandom has cast off Dak many times. Sam Darnold has bounced around, so is Baker Mayfield, and so is Daniel Jones. But they're all playing well right now. I think you could argue that if you had to do some MVP balloting right now, they would be in the conversation of top 5.
Mm-hmm.
In that conversation. So, how do we feel about these quarterbacks going from zero to hero practically? Give me your take on it, RG. How you feel about these guys? And do these guys feel worthy of the acclaim, I guess you could say? Is he muted?
Whoops, my mistake there. I think this season you have to absolutely give credit to, all 4 of these guys, really. Specifically to Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones. Dak and Baker were a little bit of already kind of proven commodities in their teams. Baker, obviously a little bit more recently than Dak. And then just side note as well, I wish Baker nothing but the best in his career and in his life. And I truly hope that for as long as he is in the NFL and as long as he lives, that the Browns have issues at QB, because goddamn, they deserve everything they get for letting that man walk and almost letting him walk out of the league, because there was a moment there where people were really thinking he's not going to be playing in the NFL anymore. And that is just insane to me for how talented and for how well He's kept this Tampa Bay team afloat post Tom Brady. That is an insanely hard thing to do, to step into that shadow. I know Tom Brady wasn't, as beloved in New England, or wasn't as beloved in Tampa as he was in New England, but that's still incredibly tough situation to walk into following a legend. So
Oh yeah.
all the love to Baker. I hope he does absolutely well in the future, and all the best to him. But for the rest of these guys, I mean, Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold, Dak Prescott, it's actually insane that this is the list right here, because those are the top 3 leaders in quarterback rating so far through this year. It goes Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold, Dak Prescott in that order.
Wow.
If you would have told me that was the top 3 again coming into this year, I would have said you're crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, it just goes to show you, man, that these guys that were kind of, one man's trash is certainly another man's treasure. And I think Seattle, Tampa, and Indy are certainly happy with their new or newish acquisition.
I like it. Okay. Captain Jack, how you feel about these quarterbacks, and what do you think their future lies ahead for them?
Well, I was going to say, why were you? And I know you quantified that by saying the Cowboys and everybody gave up on Dak. But again, Dak's never, other than when he was injured, Dak's never been anything but positive to that team. And everybody who rips on him, is stupid. Okay, I'm not saying you're stupid, Coach. I'm just saying anybody that was saying how horrible he is, because he's always been that guy. Always been that guy. And Aaron Judge just tied it up. I know we're not supposed to talk other sports, but yeah, now it's 6-6. A 3-run homer. But I was going to say, Baker, I appreciate RG saying what he's saying, because, again, can't stand the guy. I mean, as far as like that, because he's here in Tampa. But everybody here in Tampa area loves Baker Mayfield the way he is and all that he has done. So, yeah, I agree with you. All the crap that we can induce upon the Cleveland Browns because they are stupid for letting him go, okay, I agree with that on that. And very rarely do I agree with somebody across the board. I think I'm going to have my fun with Alex tonight. But, yeah, Daniel Jones and Sam Darnold, anybody can look good with the people that Darnold was throwing to last year, but he has shown a lot of chutzpah. There's a good word for you. Good chutzpah for what he's doing in Seattle and performing as he has, and Jones as well in Indianapolis. I give to you, it's not a matter of who you are and what it is. It's time and opportunity. And I give to you Jim Plunkett and Rich Gannon, okay? When they were given the correct opportunity in the time that they were allotted, they performed to the peak level, okay? Jim Plunkett getting those, again, I know I have to make it Raider-ish, but it's what I know, okay? Jim Plunkett winning 2 Super Bowls for the Raiders after being cast off from New England to San Francisco. Pastorini breaks his leg and he gets 2 Super Bowl wins. And Gannon being cast off between the Vikings and the Redskins and the Chiefs, and I don't know why the Chiefs gave up on him. He comes over to the Raiders and he wins a offensive MVP for that year. So it's a matter of right place, right time. And I'll give you another one, Kurt Warner, because he had the opportunity when what's his nose broke his leg. Thank you. Trent Green broke his leg. It was time and opportunity. So these guys are performing when they need to perform with the right opportunity, and bravo to them. They're showing what you can do if you just meet it out and just beat the crap out of your opponents in front of you.
Okay. Good stuff. The real AG Alex Givens, what you got on these guys?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with everyone like Dak's. I think Dak has been as advertised. I mean, he's the highest paid quarterback in the league. Definitely got to give him credit for losing CD and still being a pretty efficient offense through 4 touchdowns in week 5. Granted, some of that's because his defense makes him have to do that to get a W, but hey. But yeah, I think for these other 3 guys, I think they've pretty much solidified. I mean, really, like Darnold and Baker already have like decent contracts with the team they're on, and I think are not really showing any signs of a team needing to reevaluate or question whether they have their guy, at least for the immediate future. But I'd argue that Daniel Jones has probably already played himself into a decent extension with the Colts to stay with them. And, which sucks because I like Anthony Richardson and I want him to get a good shot. But I mean, he had 2 chances to look Daniel Jones-esque in that offense, and he didn't do that. And Daniel Jones, everyone kind of likes the feel-good comeback story, and he's providing that this year, and Baker's provided that at times, and Sam Darnold has too. So you kind of just have to quietly root for these guys when they're not playing your team because it's just it's cool to see them get the opportunity and prevail in that moment. And it was even cool watching the Bucs Seahawks game because Baker and Darnold were both castaways on the Panthers at one point in time, competing for a job, and both got cut, and are now putting one of the more entertaining games of the week on television. So,
how about that?
You think that post-game blocker talk or that post-game talk between them was like, thank God we got the hell out of there, huh?
Yeah, that part.
Oh, for real.
Really?
Well, and they were with Matt Rule too. It's like,
that part too. Yeah. We won't speak on that, but yeah, I definitely agree with you that and I guess the overall theme in this particular space is where you land matters.
Yeah,
where you land matters, especially for a lot of quarterbacks. There's only maybe a handful, maybe count on one hand quarterbacks you can kind of go anywhere and they will be successful. But most quarterbacks out of the 32, I would say a large majority, probably about 70% of quarterbacks in this league have to be in the right position, the right time, right place to be successful. And I think these guys are proving that point. Dak Prescott and Daniel Jones are the most surprising to me on this list because, Dak Prescott, we all didn't really think highly of what they had going on. They thought their running game was kind of wonky. They were rebuilding their O-line. The defense took a step back. They traded Micah. We didn't know what Schottenheimer was going to be as a coach or a quarterback or a head coach or leader, whatever. We didn't know anything about what he was going to do. And I think I said this last week, he stabilized the room. He has his guys bought in. He's calling good plays. He's not the moment is not too big for him so far. So I got to give Schottenheimer credit for that. And again, Dak Prescott stepping up finally, fully healthy for a change is another thing. He's really settled into being a pocket quarterback, not necessarily a running guy. And he's delivering, man. And they're doing pretty well. And I think that they're going to start to rise, in that division as well. They're going to start to put together a few games. I think their schedule is kind of soft the next 3 to 4 weeks as well. So they could stack a few wins, stack some confidence, and be looking at the Eagles like, hey, y'all, it's not your division to walk off with just yet. We have something to say about it. So we'll see. But yeah, for Sam Darnold, I gotta give him. I gotta put some respect on his name because I browbeat him for a whole year when in Minnesota because I thought he was just in an elitist and he had such a shiny mansion, with Lamborghinis in the driveway and butlers and he silver spoons everywhere in Minnesota that you couldn't help but be good. But he came to Seattle and we thought that this was going to be the line in the sand. And so far through 5 games, he's doing well.
And that's not to say that Seattle doesn't have talent either. They have talent, but it's just not what not Minnesota had.
If you put on paper what happened, they lost DK. Tyler Lockett's gone. They traded away their tight end. They're rebuilding their O-line as well. They had 2 running backs, but we didn't know JSN could be a number 1. That was a question. That kind of thing. Was Torrey Holton going to emerge? Was Cooper Kupp washed up? It was a lot of questions.
Yeah.
There's a lot of questions, especially with having a defensive-minded head coach. People always wonder about that. So I think that, we all had our legit questions about how this was going to go. And week 1 was kind of shaky too, kind of what we talking about with the Lions. It was a little bit shaky week 1, but ever since then, it's been they had the world on fire in Seattle. So hey, the 12s might be back. We'll see. But I got to give Sam Darnold credit as well. And I left Baker Mayfield last for this particular point because we aren't giving him enough credit. I mean, his stay in Tampa has been elite. If you want to be honest about it. Now, granted, he has a Lamborghini and a Maserati in the garage. He does.
He's drifting that. He's whipping that thing, man.
Mike Evans, Emeka Ibuka, Chris Godwin, Bucky Irvin, Rashad White. Even though Bucky Herbert's hurt right now,
he's got O-line too.
Yeah, he's got some weapons. But he's doing what he's supposed to do with it. And at the times where he needs to be the leader and carry the team on his back, he's doing it. So I definitely got to give
Real.
credit to Baker. And if I had to put a gun in my head, somebody put a gun in my head right now and they say who's MVP, I would say it's Baker. So, but again, we still got a lot of ball to play. It's only quarter of the season done. But if he continues to play this level, I think that he's going to be in that conversation at the end of the season. So I definitely like what they're doing in Tampa. But, they just got to keep it going. Just got to keep building. And they're not even fully healthy yet. Imagine when they get fully healthy. That's another question. So we'll see how things roll. But yeah, I like what everybody's doing on this list. Can Daniel Jones sign us the haters? And I get that because I've been one of them. I just didn't believe in it at all.
It's tough. It's tough to fully believe in him just because of his resume up to this point. So
right. So
I
yeah,
understand.
Yeah, so we'll see. Yeah, I mean, again, you give me a 5-game sample size, I'm not sold. I'm not buying stock just yet. But if you give me a 4 seasons worth, I kind of give him the Sam Darnold treatment. Like, I got to put some respect on it. So we'll see. Got things roll. All right, so let's move on down the line. Let's talk about some NFL predictions here. Let's do our segment called Cover Forecast. We're going to do some predictions here real quick. We're going to talk about the NFL rookies first and foremost. We're going to do a quick rookie check-in of sorts. Are these rookies that we've been seeing in the 2025 draft class so far, have they been, living up to the hype? Are they, meeting your expectation? Are they not? Because we kind of had our eyes on certain guys that we thought they were going to be really good, and certain guys that we were kind of 50-50 on. So let's go back around the room in reverse order. AG, what rookies that you had your eye on that are either living up to the hype or not living up to the hype at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just list one. I got 2, but I'll list one so I don't steal someone else's.
Okay.
I know what yours is, Coach.
Of
But I think one of the more important ones, taking that guy out of it, you got to talk about Ty Warren with the Colts.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
I mean, I don't think their offense or the hype around their team is where it's at without him. They've, clearly drafted him and had a plan for how to use him, because he's not just a tight end. They flex him all over the field, kind of like the Giants did with Evan Ingram early in his career, and he's been pretty efficient. I mean, he's been I almost said Sam Darnold. I don't know why. Been Indiana Jones's go-to target pretty much in their offense, and I think has been as advertised for him.
Okay. Anybody that's kind of letting you down, or kind of, we might need some more time to develop? Is anybody got so your naughty list of sorts?
I mean, I think the big one, it's more of a just I'm not sure how they're planning to use him, and that's just like Travis Hunter, because I mean, watching that game, it's interesting. Like it seems like the uniqueness that he brings is so hard for a team to figure out how to utilize him. Like I was kind of shocked they didn't try to throw to him more once he, broke 2 tackles and got a first down, like kind of put his footprint on the game a little bit. And I was like, damn, they should probably start using him more. And then they only threw him one more ball, and he caught it to convert a pretty big 3rd down. But yeah, it's just interesting. And I don't think he's really lived up to where they drafted him, because it's like he's not really making an impact on defense. Sometimes they don't even play him in, a whole half of a game on offense. It's just like, what did you give up all that capital for if you're not kind of making him a focal point of your whole team,
That's a great point. And this goes back to my criticism about the idea of him wanting to play both sides. I think that, it takes a lot of work and a lot of effort to be good at one side of the football.
Mm-hmm.
So you trying to mix and match and make him a full-time guy on both sides of the ball is a tall order. And I think that Troy Aikman said it on the broadcast last night that, you missing valuable time in certain rooms, in certain aspects throughout practice because you're not there. If you're in the offensive room, you can't be in a defensive room, and vice versa. So I think that that's an issue for him. And I think that it's going to come down to a point where he's going to have to decide. He's going to have to pick one. He's going to pick one. I really do believe that. And I do think he can cut his teeth and be a really good and elite corner in this league. He has the dynamics and the athleticism to be okay on offense. But I mean, as far as him being, an elite, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase-esque type of guy, I don't think that's it. Again, you don't want to call back to the Deion references, things of that nature. Deion was a corner for years. Dallas was the one that just decided to use him in special packages on offense, but he never was a full-time starter. And Troy kind of talked about that last night as well. The fact that Dion was he had a few plays here and there, but he never was a full-time offensive guy. He probably wasn't in the room much. He was mostly in defensive rooms. So I think that he needs to pick one side of the ball and just be a leader. There's nothing wrong with being a Hall of Famer on one side of the ball. I think you'll be okay. I think you can live tonight. You can be a Hall of Famer on one side.
Coach, I got a better example for you, and it's a little bit more, even though he's been out of the league for a while, is Seawood. Seawood came out of Michigan with all of that dual threat hype, went to the Raiders, and the Raiders had packages for him as an offensive player, like maybe his first 2 years where he was doing punt returns as well as in the offense, but he showed what he can be as a Hall of Famer on the defensive side. So he made his bones playing defense. You could run gadget plays, and I agree. If you're playing both sides, you're only doing half of what you need to do to be great at one of them. You're cutting yourself in half. Unless you can literally cut yourself in half and figure out what you want to be, you're underutilizing yourself. But I said, I think I don't know, maybe there's been somebody since then, but Seawood showed that, stick to the one, run the gadgets. And then after a while, it's like, no, we don't want to lose you for some stupid injury on offense if you're, God forbid, you're out there. And I think the same thing, Travis Hunter would probably be a fantastic all-pro-esque corner if given the opportunity.
Right, because he matched up against Travis Kelce a couple of times, and they had a pretty good run against each other. So you see it, but they just got to give him the time and the reps and the ability to be out there. Because there's going to be some rookie bumps in the road when you play the position, regardless of who you are. No matter how talented you are, there's going to be some bumps. So you got to learn, fight through them, and improve from there. But again, if you're only doing it half the time, you limit it to a certain amount of snaps because A, don't want to get you hurt, and B, don't want to tire you out. It's I think you're doing them a disservice in my opinion, but that's their business.
And it's just the other thing is, I get if he wants to be, and I think he could be an all-world corner. I mean, he is that good, but it's like teams in today's NFL don't trade away all the future picks they did and take a guy at second to be a corner, you know? Yeah. And so that's what I don't get is like, how do you move up and take this guy, go on all your press conferences and call him the number one wide receiver on your draft board and corner, and then not have at least a design 10 ways to get him the ball in every game on offense,
Right. Yeah. You get the most out of it, get the most juice you can get out of that orange. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll say this. If I'm Travis, if you're going to make me full-time on one position, I want to be a full-time wide receiver. Because the market for wide receivers is significantly higher than cornerbacks. So, you're going to be getting way more money playing on that side of the ball. So, but to Alex's point as well, you traded up and gave away your future first-round pick to draft a guy who we said at the time is, okay, you can kind of look at it as like, well, we're getting 2 first-round talents out of this one player. But now, to not even use him what you drafted him for, that's already kind of showing me the Jags are kind of regretting moving up to take him.
Yeah. I put it this way, like what other team takes a wide receiver, let's just say that, like wide receiver second overall, and then doesn't feed him 10 plus targets a game.
Yeah.
I mean, no other one does that.
Right. Exactly. Who's the number one pick and isn't their number one corner? I mean, nobody takes a cornerback that high. He's not your number one corner. He's not your number one guy, your touchdown guy from day one. Yeah, so that's another point. So I definitely that's a great one, Alex. I definitely think I love that example. That was a good one. I definitely think he is. Go ahead, Cap.
I apologize, Coach. I was waiting for the right time because I hate walking on people. I really do. I know you guys think I do it deliberately, but I don't. It's like they had the aspirations, but I don't think that they had the proper planning for it. They need to do something. And maybe they're figuring out this year, we had the idea, but we didn't make it happen correctly. So maybe this is kind of like a bump, and then they might try to figure it out as years go by. Because remember, they got him on a 5-year contract on that. So they're going to have to learn the best way to utilize, because, they gave up a hell. I'm so verklempt on here. that they gave up a hell of a lot for him. They better learn how to use them for what they gave up on him, for sure.
That's a good point. That's a good point. And I wonder, I mean, clearly hindsight, is it's in the past. I'm just saying it that way. But what would have happened had they not tried to trade up and get him? And what would the Browns and everybody
That's
else
what I'm saying,
would have done? What would they have done had he not been traded up for? So would they have skipped them and moved down, or picked Abdul and kept it, and he'd have fell to you anyway, that kind of thing, and you wouldn't have been looking like you got a lot invested in him as much. You just put a top 5 pick on him or top 10 pick on him, whatever. I don't know, but that's a good one. I'm curious to see how things go for him later on down the line, because it's a lot, to your point, to be invested in and not utilize them a lot, for sure. All right, young RG, what you got over there from your rookie perspective? Who's on your radar? Who's not?
Yeah, so for rookie disappointment to start this year, it's got to be I'm going to go with the other tight end, the other first-round tight end, Colston Loveland.
Okay.
And I mean, I am just, quite frankly, just shocked at how little he has affected this Bears team. I mean, only appeared in 4 games so far, or 3 games so far this year. Did not play in week 4 against the Raiders because he was out with an injury that he suffered the previous week against Dallas. But with all that, he has seen a grand total of 6 targets for 3 receptions for 43 yards. And 31 of those yards came on a single catch against the Cowboys. So it really just goes to show you that he has absolutely no effect whatsoever on this offense. I thought with Ben Johnson, Caleb, this was going to be a resurgence, taking a tight end security blanket type for Caleb in this offense, and he has just been a complete no-show. And for somebody that from week 1, he only saw 57% of the snaps. From your first round tight end, that's
taken before Warren.
You taken before you traded up, or right? Did they trade up to take?
I don't think they traded up.
The Colts first. We were just trying to take him over Warren.
Right, yeah. So you took him over Warren, and then to not even play him more than 75% of the snaps week 1 is crazy to me. And I mean, they've just gone down week after week, and obviously, like I mentioned, got injured in week 3, so they plummeted from around 50% all the way down to 10%. So I just am shocked. I hope to see him turn it around. I hope to see that offense kind of turn it around. But with the way things are going right now, man, that is looking like a bust so far. For successful for the rookie so far, I'm going to go with somebody who hasn't necessarily played a whole lot, but the situation he's in and with some injuries, I expect him to take an even bigger leap than he's already had. And that is Jahad Campbell from the Philadelphia Eagles. 18 solo tackles so far. He has a pick. He has a forced fumble on the year. And with Nakobe Dean and Nolan Smith on the IR, injured, obviously he will see a lot more snaps and an increase in his snap percentage for a defense that is just, continuously one of the best in the NFL. It's so easy to just slide into that with a lot of talent around you and to kind of just pick up your game and play with that level of confidence. It's how teams really are able to maintain those high levels of defenses for so long. You keep drafting those young guys, having those veterans teach them, and this is why the Eagles have had success post. Oh my God, what's the Brandon? Yeah, post Andy Reid, but I was going to say, defensive wise, post Brandon Graham, post the other DT, Fletcher Cox. Thank you. Yes. So there's been so many more defensive players, to name, Malcolm Jenkins, but they've just done such a great job of keeping that talent rolling in, and I think he's going to be a stud for them.
I like it. Okay. Jack, any rookies outside of your own, or your own for that matter, that is
And folks, I'm gonna apologize again. I kind of do that again. My track is because of my schedule, and I go to all of these games. I haven't missed one yet. It is pretty much wrote in on my team. So again, I gotta say what I'm upset with about the rookies that I seen, or the lack of participation from Raider rookies because of the BS in our franchise. I'm gonna say this. Ashton Jeanty has shined when he started to figure out what's going on. So he has done well in that capacity. behind a lackluster offensive line. But my problem is the Raiders signed, or I should say drafted, both a guard and a tackle, along with 2 defensive tackles that were supposed to be good fixtures for this up-and-coming team. And they've been MIA or on milk cartons for the most part, okay? I saw Pegues, who was this guy that is great, extra carries, fullback that runs the ball. I'm sure you might have seen him out of Ole Miss. Hey, the fact that our running game would probably need to use somebody that's big and can't be tackled behind an offensive line that can't move a mouse, that might have been something that would be good to use at this point. Thornton, our Thornton, not to be confused with the Givens' Thornton on the Chiefs, great guy that has a lot of speed as well, but unfortunately he's showing that he needs the more of the NFL type. You need to run this, that, and the other thing. And he did that in his first stint in college, but not as much in Tennessee. So he is kind of like what is it? Not an unsatisfactory, inconclusive, an I grade for that. I can't remember what that one is. Where you don't really incomplete. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. And so Jack Besh is actually starting to get some of the reps. So I would say that the grades for our rookies, because I don't get a chance to see other people's rookies other than the teams that we're playing. Like you said, who was the tight end that you were talking about that didn't show up week 1? Was that a Patriot tight end?
No,
Bears.
it was the Bears.
Bears.
Loveland.
Okay, apologies, because I was going to say no. I don't recall seeing him as well. But yeah, Bears didn't need anything other than stupidity on our part to win, or rookie plays. But yeah, I am sorry that I'm kind of tunnel vision on what my team is. I don't get a chance to do the 6 million. I think we have about, I would say, a good 20 fantasy football leagues that we're representing here on the screen that are not mine. So you guys,
That's about right.
I'm saying it in a good way. It's like you guys kind of mix and match with what's going on, and that's fantastic. And I don't have that luxury. So if my vision is tunnel, it's only because I kind of focus on my fantasy team, which sucks.
Fair enough. That's a good one. That's a good way to end that segment. I like that, Cal. That's a good one. That's a good one. For sure. For me, I believe, I've been pounding the table on multiple platforms here in the Electric Shop Podcast about Emeka Egbuka all preseason, all
Big boo.
A big boo. Yeah, according to Gronk, he's
Emeka a big boo.
Emeka a big boo, according to Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah, now it's a big boo-boo on his Gronk.
Right, it was on national TV of all places. But Emeka Egbuka is a bona fide stud, and I told people from day one that he was the most polished and NFL ready receiver coming out of college, and I was right, because he's definitely lighting it up. Sans Mike Evans, sans I heard Chris Godwin, sans anybody on this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team, he's lighting it up, and it doesn't matter who's next to him, he's still putting up numbers, and Baker Mayfield is quickly falling in love with him, and they're going to have a nice little marriage going forward. Whenever Mike decides to inevitably hang it up, they got a succession plan ready to grow. But I think Emeka Egbuka is a bona fide stud, and I think he's going to be a really good Pro Bowl-esque player going forward. And like I said, he's completely polished, and the kid loves football. That's one thing that I kind of kept in the tuck about what I liked about him, is the fact that having the loving the game on top of being a really good athlete is definitely an underrated skill. So when you love the game and you are obsessed with the game and you can play it at a high level, then that's a recipe for an all-star. So I do believe that Emeka Egbuka is going to be really good for Tampa, and they smashed that pick when they picked him, and I believe it was 19 in the first round. And another 1B I want to talk about, and I know he got a little bit of have a little bit of faux pas with the law that it got exonerated from, but Quinshon Judkins.
Mm-hmm.
Quinshon Judkins is doing the big one in Cleveland. And I said that that was my pick for the Chargers, because I really didn't think Mario Hampton was going to fall to us. I really thought he's going to go way before our pick. So I was like, there's no way we're going to have a shot at Hampton or Jency, obviously. So my next pick would be to take a wide receiver in 1 and Golden, because I wanted Golden. I wanted Egbuka, but it was a pipe dream, because I'm like, who's going after Ted? Ted was going first, Mecca was going second. We won't get our hands on either one of those. So I said, I realistic chance would be to get Matthew Golden in the first and get Quinshon Judkins in the second. And I was like, and then he did go in the second round, but it cost Cleveland trade up to get him. But that was my dream, to have both of those Ohio State kids. And again, they're both doing exactly what I thought they were going to do, and they're bona fide studs coming out. And just the shiftiness and the craftiness he runs the ball with, despite all the shakings and noise going on in Cleveland, lets you know that he's just here to play football, and it doesn't matter who's in front of him. So Quinshon Judkins and Emeka Egbuka, the kids out of Ohio State, are definitely smashes for me, for sure. It's a kid that I'm kind of wondering what's happening with him, because I haven't seen flashes for him, and I was high on him. It's actually twofold. Because I'm gonna give Maxwell Harrison some grace because he's been hurt. But I was really looking for him to shine. It's been a first round pick for the Bills, and that Bills defense is, I don't know what's happening there. But the other kid, for me, the kind of, and again, that's another bad defense is Malachi Starks. I thought the combination of Malachi Starks and Kyle Hendrick was going to be take the Ravens out of here. I really thought they was going to be the, the no-fly zone, whatever connotation you want to give a secondary, with them adding Jair Alexander. I already have Marlon Humphreys, having Wiggins, and then those two safeties. I'm like, there's no way you can screw this up. They're going to be the lead defense. And they just gave up another touchdown just now. We ain't even playing football. So
for real, dude.
I don't know what's happening with that.
They're trading for safeties and signing them, to add more.
Exactly. It just took a Aloy Gilman from us, thank God.
They signed Gardner
seriously.
Johnson too.
To the practice squad, right? So I don't know what's happening there. So that's a head scratcher for me, because I just knew him and Nick Emeagwari were both my 1 and 2 or 1A, 1B safeties coming out of the draft. They were going to hit the ground running, and I just don't know what happens with him yet. So we'll see how things go going forward, and hopefully they can right the ship, because this is what the Ravens did last year. They were really unadulteratedly ass for the first 8 weeks last year, and they got it together. Zach Orr made some changes, moved Kyle Hamilton around, and they were able to be better. So hopefully they can figure it out when Lamar comes back. But if they don't, ooh-wee. But that's my, kind of what happened to him, rookie, from my perspective. But any go backs, any additions before we move on to the next topic?
No, I was saving for Judkins, so I would just say that honestly, all of the early running backs taken in the draft, I think, have been pretty solid or as advertised. Even Trevion Henderson, the Patriots,
but they won't give the ball to. What are we doing, New England?
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, like Genty's shown flashes when given chances. Hampton looked pretty good once given the chance. Unfortunately, had the injury, but that is what it is. Judkins, so. It
even goes past the first round. This running back class, this draft class is
I think the hype stops with Caleb Johnson, but
I agree.
I think
maybe RJ Harvey.
Yeah,
I don't know.
RJ Harvey, but like Bill Krosky-Merritt, he was a 6th rounder. He's popping off for the Commanders. So there's been
big
some
beautiful Bill, baby.
Big beautiful Bill. Yes, sir.
Hey, don't forget. Hey, I know one. Scataboos look good for the Giants too.
Yep, there we go.
Yeah, there you go. No,
hey, I knew something other than a Raider. There you go. Give me some props here.
Good job, Cap. All right. That's right. Give him props to do.
Give the horn.
Gotta hit the horn.
Damn right. Give me a horn. I've heard that before. There you go.
Okay. All right. So those are rookies for expectations, who's living up to the hype, who's not. So let's move on down the line. Let's talk about games of the week. All right. So we got 4 games on the docket. We're going to predict the outcomes of, and it's interesting to say that these games the lines are interesting, and some short ones and very long one for the Rams. And this is contingent upon Lamar playing. They don't know whether or not he's going to play or not, but I'm curious about this game. So to start off, the Seahawks at the Jags, which seems like it's going to be an interesting game. I mean, 2 teams are playing really well, Trevor versus Sam, in Jacksonville. So the Jacksonville is actually favored at home by 1.5. So our resident degenerate gambler himself, Young RG, let's start you off and tell me how you feel about this game and who you taking and why.
Yeah, I'm taking the Seahawks plus 1.5 here. I think the Seahawks are going to win this game outright. So the fact I'm getting even a little bit of points with it, I'll take it. But I just think, already talked about it in the previous segment where we talked about the Colts and the Jags. I just think Trevor Lawrence ultimately is holding that team back from, what they could really be, and they're 4-1. So that just kind of goes to show you just how much, in spite of him, they are winning these games. And I think it's going to be coming down to the quarterbacks. Sam Darnold, if he continues to do what he did, if he can just do what he did last week, I think that defense is going to give, that Seahawks defense is going to give Lawrence some issues. I think if they're able to contain ETN even just a little bit, force the ball into Lawrence's hands. I think that's going to play right into the Seahawks' strength with that secondary. And then ultimately, like, it's just going to come down to not turning the ball over for the Seahawks. Don't give the Jags any short fields, any free possessions here. And I feel like they should win this game. I know the Jags, the defense has been balling and they're turning the ball over a lot, but turnovers are really fluky. And I hate ranking
Relying
a
on
team.
them.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Relying on them and kind of banking on because the Jags are averaging just under 3 turnovers per game.
That's
That
not
is
sustainable.
no
That's what I'm
way.
saying.
There's just no way. So I feel like this will be kind of a come down to earth moment for the Jags. And I think the Seahawks will take this one.
Okay. Captain Jack, who you got winning this game?
Seahawks. Again, I try not to do the point things, although I have to take it into effect. Short week for the Jags for after an emotional win. Seahawks are pissed that they lost to that other team in Florida. So
Yeah.
you put those together, I think that they'll have a bit more. And by the way, since I am a Floridian, it's now October. Now, granted, October can still be hot in Florida. That's probably a 1:00 game, but it's not as hot as it has been. So it gets a little bit nicer during the year. You gotta factor that in when you play in Florida. I think that the Seahawks will definitely take that. I just went outright. I don't do points per se.
Well, they're the underdogs. So if you take the Seahawks, you automatically win just by taking them because they won't. They're not the favorites in this one. So,
Yep. I apologize. Yep, they're losing. They're given a 1.5. So yeah, I'll definitely take the Seahawks just winning.
Okay. All right, AG, what you got in this game?
Yeah, I got the Seahawks as well. I mean, it's definitely going to be. It's going to come down to which quarterback protects the ball better because you got two very opportunistic defenses going against each other. Looking at that, I mean, Darnold has 3 picks, Lawrence has 5. As RG said, their Jags themselves are averaging 3 turnovers a game. So I think, that's going to rear its ugly head again. And I think Darnold's got more poise and ability to, close it out at the end of the day.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, just based upon that, again, that emotional win they had against the Chiefs at home, and they're back home again in Duval.
Hillsborough. I gotta say that. I can't stand Duval, man. I'm just
Yeah, so it's gonna be an interesting one. You got 2, very feisty defenses as well, man. It's a toss up, and I think that's why the line is only 1.5. Yeah, I mean, my heart in my mind wants to go to Seahawks and Sam Darnold, so I'm gonna roll with that. But I'm a little skittish on the idea that the Jazz could, this is really a test for Trevor Lawrence. It really is. You got to win over Trevor. I got to remember win over Patrick Mahomes in prime time. Can you come right back and beat a really good Seahawks team to prove that you're not a fluke? In a sense, it'd be the real question. Serious. If we can, then we can have a different conversation about Trevor Lawrence. But if we can't, it'd be status quo. So, but I'm gonna roll with the Seahawks for sure. Now, the next game I'm gonna say there's gonna be a preface on Lamar playing. We're gonna treat this as if it's Lamar playing because if he's not playing, this is a walk off. And I think that's why the line is 7.5 at this moment because they're not sure. But assuming that Lamar plays, what do you have in this Ravens game, RG?
I'm still taking the Rams, regardless if Lamar plays or not. That Ravens defense is just such a nightmare, man.
Really?
With Puka balling as much as he is, you still have Devontae Adams on the other side as well. Stafford is leading the league right now in passing yards. He's the only quarterback averaging 300 passing yards per game. He's 25 clear of the guy next to him. So, I mean, it's just, although with how loony this NFL season has been, it wouldn't shock me one bit if the Ravens just came out and shut out the Rams, because I'd be like, yeah, that's about on par with how this season is going. Just zero, reason, rhyme for it. But, it happened. But I think it makes all the sense in the world that the Rams should take this one. I'm going to stay away from the points because, like you mentioned, Lamar, it's probably going to shift once we find out whether he plays or not. But I will take the Rams straight up.
Okay. Jack, who you got in this game?
Well, if we're going, I don't think that the Rams will I'm saying this correctly. I don't think the Rams will cover or the Ravens. The Rams should win, but if Lamar plays, I don't think that they're going to
Cover. You got it.
You got it
Yeah,
right.
I don't think they're going to cover that 7.5. I want to make sure I don't F this up again. I don't gamble, guys. I'm sorry. Although with the app, I'm losing money. That's another reason why I don't need to gamble as much as I have to.
Fair enough. But yeah, you got the Rams winning, but you're not sure they're going to cover. Is what you're saying?
Right, not going to cover for sure.
Gotcha. All right, AG, what you got on this matchup? Assuming Lamar plays.
I don't think Lamar does play.
I don't either.
Me neither.
Because they got their bye after this, so I think
yeah.
they're already kind of down. Like
Right.
I don't know.
And
I mean,
banged up.
unless they're at desperation, unless it's truly they're at desperation mode and need him to play. But I think it makes the most sense for him not to play. But either way, I agree with RG. Their defense is so bad. I mean, they gave up 44 points to the Texans offense. You know,
That's insane.
Yeah.
So I think the Rams win and cover.
Okay.
Regardless.
Okay. Same here.
Who gave up 44 points to the Texans? What am I not listening? I'm so
The Ravens
so out of it.
The Ravens did. The Ravens did.
last week.
I gotta look at TV more often, man. I'm sorry. I don't have time.
Yeah,
I don't
44-10. Texans beat them. Granted, there was like half of their roster was out.
Right.
So I mean, Kyle Hamilton was out. I mean, you put him back in the game, it could be a little different in and of itself, but still.
Man, I'm just immune from all of the crap I see visually each week that maybe I just don't want to watch anything else.
That might be more so because I'm like, you can just download the ESPN or Yahoo app. They'll give you the scores. They'll give you the scores. So that's the one thing. But yeah, if you just want to be detached because it's too stressful, then I get that too.
The funny thing about that Texans Ravens game is I think I saw a tweet before that game where it was like the last 4 Texans games have all been, the point totals have been like all under like 30 or something.
Terrible.
And the last 4 Ravens games, they had all been over like 50 or some weird number like that. And I remember looking at that, I'm like, well, that game's probably going to be, the Texans offense is not that great. It's probably going to be, 20-10, it'll probably be low scoring. They hit the over just off purely Houston just dominating them. That's so terrible.
Exactly. Yeah, that's crazy. I think we talked about the graphic we saw earlier. That
I was going to mention that.
The Ravens defense have given up more points in 5 games than the 2000 Ravens defense gave up in this whole season.
Jesus.
And it's only 5 weeks in. It was like 500 and something crazy. I gotta look it up again, but it's
100 something, 100 I think 60.
Yeah. It was 177 through 5 weeks. And the 2000 Ravens only gave up 165 in the entire season. So that's crazy. That's crazy. And Ray Lewis is kicking all kind of chairs in this house. That's all I can say. But yeah, I'm with you guys. I'm taking the Rams as well. I think I'm taking the Rams in the points. 7, 8, 9, maybe I'll still be okay with it because I don't think Lamar plays. But we'll see how things go. But like you said, it might be in desperation mode. He might try to give it a go. We'll see. But I wouldn't want to let Jerry Verse be chasing me with a bad hammy, personally. All right, 49ers and Buccaneers. This is gonna be a good one, I think. I believe that Mac Jones is gonna get another start. He's gonna look like if he looked like he did last week, then Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers might have their hands full. So they're in Tampa. Tampa's at home. So it's favored by 2.5. So it was a field goal game pretty much. So RG, who you got in this game and why?
I mean, I gotta take the Bucks, man. If they just keep winning at the last second, last drive. I'll take the points. Give me the 2.5. I'll cover that easy. They only got to win by a field goal, so I love that there. But yeah, I mean, Baker, I already gave him a ton of love, man. Don't gotta say much more. Baker just has that whole city, that whole team just vibing right now. They are coasting through so many injuries purely off of just Baker's want and willpower. So yeah, I'm gonna take the Bucks. Mac had a great game against the Rams. Good for him. I think that game definitely opened up. I think the Browns should definitely be giving him a call over really quick, being like, hey, we'll slide you a 6 for him, give us something, to kind of right the ship for this year, because I don't think Dylan Gabriel's going to do anything, but I digress. I'll take the Bucks on this one.
Okay, good stuff. All right, Cap, we got the fake Pirates of the Niners.
Well, God, I hate this! That should tell you who's going to win. That should tell you who's going to win. Nothing else needs to be said. F the fake Pirates.
But you like them to win. You think they're going to win? Okay, fair enough.
I think so. You're saying there's a chance? No, I'm not. 49ers, you're going to lose. Okay, there you go.
Fair enough. All right, AG, who you got in this game?
Yeah, this is I think, in my opinion, the toughest one to pick, and I think will be the most entertaining game on the slate in Week 6 because these are both teams that somehow find a way to win. They're both 4-1.
Yeah.
They both pull some rabbit out of the hat in the last minute to, get more points on the scoreboard. So it's just gonna who's gonna do that, regardless of it being Purdy or Jones. 49ers offense should be healthier in this game with some of their receivers back. But I think I got to go with Baker at home, and I would imagine they cover.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, again, for all the claim I gave Baker earlier in the segment and earlier in the show, it's kind of hard to bet against them.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Just, what scares me or what makes me nervous about the 49ers is their pass rush, which is non-existent at this moment. And if you're going to give Baker time to throw the ball, and, Galvin's getting healthier, Buka's killing, Rashad White's lighting it up, the O-line's getting healthier. I think that, the 49ers might be in for a rude awakening in this game. And, again, the Todd Bowles being a mastermind defensively, get after Mac Jones and hopefully he's not cramping this game in that Tampa Bay heat. But yeah, so I think that the Buccaneers definitely get this done in Tampa. So we'll see how things go. But hey, the 49ers are a feisty group, man. Anything can happen. But yeah, I definitely think, and we got to see what the 49ers. Well, it didn't matter last week, obviously, but what their injuries look like. Pearsall and Juwan Jennings and all those guys were out last week. Are they going to come back this week or whatnot? And we'll see. Kittle's still out, so we'll see how things roll. But I definitely like the Buccaneers in this one as well. All right, last but not least, the Lions at the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead, and the Chiefs actually favored in this game by 1.5.
It's 2.5 now, I think.
Is it really? Okay.
Wow.
It was 1.5 as of last night after the game, so it must have gone up. Okay,
I don't know why.
Okay. Well, since you said it, let's start with you. How do you feel about this game? This is your team.
I mean, hey, I'm gonna ride with my team until I can absolutely not have any confidence in them. So they got embarrassed on Monday night, like I said. Lost, I think, had just uncharacteristic things that they have not done in their pretty well-established championship run up to this point. So I think that they bounce back in a big way, play a much cleaner game, keep the football on their side of the field, and not gift, short field or big plays with dumb penalties and pull a win out in Arrowhead.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. Captain Jack, who you got in this game? Lions or Chiefs?
I think the Chiefs will be pissed that they lost to the Jags. See, I gave you a little bit there, Alex. Okay, but you still lost. Okay, but yeah, Chiefs win because they're pissed. Lions, but I don't think it's going to be like a 1-point game. Now when you have that 2.5, I don't like the 2.5. I admit like a 2 at most. Like Chiefs by 2, but they're going to win. But it's going to be a fantastic game. What time is that game and when is it?
Sunday Night Football.
Prime time, yeah.
Good. Yeah. Then I will be. Then I'll be able to watch it when I do my show. Shameless plug. Make sure you check out Captain Jack's show on Sunday after the Sunday game.
Yeah. There you go. And I would add. I mean, this is arguably a must-win game for Kansas City.
Yeah.
At this point, I mean, they out of their next. They can't really afford to lose many more. So this will be a big tell.
Would they say that they've lost the last 3 the third game that they lost last year was at the Super Bowl, and they've already lost 3 games.
Yeah, and last year they were 11-0 and 1-score games going in the fourth, and right now they're 0-3.
So, there you go. That's definitely a stat. That's definitely a stat. Okay, all right. So, Cap, did you say the Chiefs? Is that what you picked?
Yeah, begrudgingly, I can't effing stand them, but they're gonna win.
Okay, all right. That's two hate picks that he gave. Hateful picks.
Gotta do it.
I'm honest. Hey, can you look at this mug and not be honest? Come on, man.
Indeed. All right, young RG, who you got in this matchup?
Yeah, I went back and forth with this one. I think the Lions on paper should win this game. I think they have the offense, and frankly, I think they have a good enough defense to handle KC right now. But I just think KC with Reed, I think Mahomes, like everybody's saying, they're pissed off right now. They're 2-3. Can't remember the last time that a Mahomes led or I don't think it's ever been the case that a Mahomes led team was below 500 after 5 weeks of this in the year. So it's definitely kind of new territory for them, but knowing them and knowing how that culture is, they're going to want to bounce back in a big way. They're at home, going to have the crowd behind them. And if there's one thing that I don't trust with the Lions, it's Jared Goff in big moments. So I feel like this game is going to come down to a big moment. And although he did take the win against them the last time they faced off, that was in week 1. I think a little bit of a bold prediction. I think Jared Goff is going to throw a late game interception that helps the Chiefs win this one.
So the culture of the Smugs, that's what you're talking about, the culture of the Smugs.
The team isn't smug. Fans potentially might be smug, but those fans have also had to deal with agony, before he got there. It was 50 years of just nothing. So, in part, they can showboat a little bit, but
I can honestly say, thank God it was them for 50 years. We've only been crappy for about 20, 25, maybe 30. So they got it,
Well, we were established in 65, right, Coach? So we've been crappy since then. We were on 60 years, 60-year anniversary.
You were established in 1960.
Yeah.
You're an original AFL team.
25 years.
Yeah.
Come on, man. If you don't know when your team was established, RJ, I got to crack on you for that. I'm
It was
sorry.
born in the 2000s, man.
My bad. It was 40 years before the thought of me being conceived.
Yeah, I don't know that I could tell you when the Chiefs were founded, but I know they were the Dallas Texans before that.
Right.
I can at least tell you that.
Right,
I know we were in LA their first year. That's it. I know that.
1960 and then 1961, you went to San Diego.
There you
know,
go.
You know who your owner was back then, RG?
No clue.
No clue.
Baron Hilton of the Hilton Hotel. I'm sorry. Oh God, I gotta say, if you guys don't know this, I have to mac on you for this. That's your team, man.
Yeah, but he's not the owner anymore.
No, but he's the original owner.
Question though, are you on the hook for anything that happened with your team before you were born?
Yes.
You are.
Yes. You need to know the history. Alex knows that they were the Dallas Texans before they packed up, and I think they were there maybe 2 years, and then they moved to Kansas City.
But we knew it was LA Chargers before they came to San Diego Chargers. We just didn't know who the freaking owner was.
I don't even think Cowboys fans know who the owner before Jerry Jones
I can
was.
tell you it's easy for the Chiefs. It's always been the Hunt families.
Right.
I can tell you who the owner for the Pittsburgh Steelers has been because it's been the same one. Like I know history. I just I don't know 40 years before I was born.
All I'm saying is learn the history. This way, somebody like a Raider fan can't make you look stupid on your own effing show. And yes, that's the plan.
To go down to the library and pick up the ancient scriptures.
Well, to RG's point, he might say learn more about the NFL as a whole presently than just your own team. But hey,
I don't have time because I'm going today. I'm going
right.
today.
I'm just saying.
But I know the history of the NFL. I know what's going on in the NFL in my bubble, and I do. Hey, I knew about friggin' Scataboo, so STFU.
Give me this one cookie for the day for the Scataboo call.
Yeah.
We're good. Okay. All right, wrap it up here. For me, the Chiefs and the Lions, this is a hard one to pick. You're right. I do believe it's a must-win game for the Chiefs. Now last time, I think it's the last time prime time. It's the second to the last time prime time that Jared Goff and Mahomes when they had each other. It was a bloodbath. It was 50 points scored on both sides, and the Rams won that matchup. So this should be interesting.
Well, and Goff they played in 2023 too.
Week
opening
one.
week, and Lions won.
Yep.
But that's when Chris Jones sat out. He was up in a suite.
That's right.
And the very next week he was back, right?
Yeah.
Enough of this. I got you.
Emmett Smith situation.
You're right. Yeah, I think if I had to pick, I think I got to go with the Chiefs. They're more desperate, pissed off, desperate. The Lions, it is not the end of the world if they do lose the game. Even it'll be one of those competitive things. I think it's going to really come down to the running game for the Lions. If the Lions, because again, the Chiefs really have a really good stop run front, run defense. If they can run the ball on the Chiefs by any clip with those two running backs, then that's going to be the determining factor. But I'm with RG that Jared Goff makes me nervous in prime time outdoors. You know, if he's inside, comfortable, climate control environment, he's money. Might be an MVP type of guy, but outside it's 50-50. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs with 2.5 now. 2.5 now. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, Alex, I will be in Kansas City in 2 weeks, brother. In 2 weeks, I will be in Kansas City.
I won't be there. I won't be. I'm sorry. I will have my son at that point. All right. I'll have a baby that's a week old.
Okay.
Don't really think I can do a whole lot.
You know what? Okay, you are excused beyond reproach on this one. Okay, and best.
We're hoping he is the good luck baby. All right.
There you go.
Best to the missus as well on a beautiful family coming.
Indeed. And we all share that sentiment.
I hope you guys are right about the Chiefs, though. Let me just say that.
Right.
I hope we're right. All right.
Yeah, there you go. All right. So let's play a quick game of Do You Believe? I like
my favorite segment.
It's a good one, man. It's a good one. So if you weren't here last week and for the show, this is a segment where I broached a question to each panel member, and they don't know the question. They don't know it previously. I'd make that on purpose to get a visceral reaction from them, a good, real time, answer from them in regards to what I think they believe in this topic segment. So, all right, RG, we're gonna start with you because I think you'll like this one.
What do you got for me, Coach?
All right. So for you, do you believe that Drake May will be the best quarterback in his draft class?
Ooh, wow. Okay, coming out hot with it.
Hey,
so
man.
that's who? That's Caleb. That's Drake.
Jaden.
Jaden.
Penix. JJ McCarthy.
McCarthy. Yeah, there's
and
a lot.
And Knicks, right?
The Knicks. Yep.
Man, that is a tough one. Do I think he will be the best quarterback out of that draft class? I'm gonna say no. I think he will probably be the second best quarterback out of that draft class. I think you have to give respect to JD and what he's done with Washington and reviving that franchise from the depths of just agony and despair. Yeah. So I do think that you have to give, Jaden his props, but after that, man, it's a open market on who's the second best out of there. A lot of people go with Knicks. If you're a QB wins guy, you go with Knicks. If you're kind of like a eye test raw talent kind of guy, a lot of people go with May. A lot of people, if you're just where you were drafted, draft positional value, people go Caleb. So there's a lot of ways you can go with this one, but I think best, I'm going to go with JD, but Drake May is 100% second best. And he was a big reason why I had the Patriots kind of sneaking in as a playoff team this year. And they've shown, after that week 1 loss, they've kind of righted that ship a little bit more. And I think they are looking much more like a playoff contender-ish team than they did, last season, of course.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. Okay. All right, Captain Jack.
Wait, before you get there, I know something I do believe. I believe that the Raiders screwed up the opportunity to sit Brock Bowers all of this time, and they could have used him.
Yeah.
Could have used to give me those boo 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 boo.
Yeah, that's another good one. Yeah.
They screwed up 3 weeks of rehab that they could have used Brock Bowers, and they needed him for the Kansas City game. Give me that.
I like it. Okay.
But
all right.
give me your other one.
Gotcha. All right. So when it comes down to the quarterback we talk about in our Zero to Hero segment, do you think any of those 4 quarterbacks, do you think Dak, Sam, Baker, or Daniel Jones wins the MVP this year?
Dak, Sam, maybe of those 4.
Yeah.
If it's only those, that I have to do any of those 4. Who has a chance?
Any of those 4. Any of those 4 have a chance to win MVP.
Yes, the Smurf that plays for the fake Pirates.
Okay. I like it.
I agree with that. Those 4.
Out of those 4? Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Okay. All right. So Cap believes that Baker Mayfield wins the MVP.
Of those 4, if there's anybody that does, out of those 4.
I agree. And the way they play right now is very possible. It's very possible.
Yeah, I would put fake money on that. considering I'm losing other things. Yeah.
Big buddy, that's a good one. That's a good one. Okay, all right, AG. All right, so with the, I guess you can say, rise of Mac Jones is mystique and how well he's been playing for the 49ers in regards to them winning. And, a lot of people kind of wrote them off because, Brock Purdy was hurt and, the receivers, Ayuk still out, Pearsall is done, Juwan Jennings in our lineup, Kittle on the IR. Pretty much nobody had them, with the easiest schedule in the league, nobody had them making it this far. So that begs the question about, is it Shanahan's system and anybody can flourish in it? So my question to you is, do you believe that, let's say hypothetically, because, there was a conversation about Mac Jones being the pick that he really wanted in that draft versus Trey Lance, but he was bullied into about the owner kind of thing.
Mhm.
So when we talk about Brock Purdy and the fact that he got paid, let's say hypothetically they just did a Russell Wilson and they decided to move on and wanted to keep Mac Jones. Do you think Brock Purdy works anywhere outside of San Francisco?
No, I don't. I think that Shanahan is, very clearly shown it's a large part of his system and his schemes and how he schemes things open and doesn't really give his quarterback a whole lot of, it's like, there's your read, make it or not type of offense. So yeah, I think he's shown that already. He's shown that not only this year, but in years past. At first I thought you were going to ask me if I thought there was a QB controversy with Mac Jones, which I don't think there will be, unfortunately, because they paid him too much.
Right, exactly.
Because I've seen people saying, well, like, they moved off from Trey Lance, and it's like, yeah, but Trey Lance was on a rookie deal.
That part.
And like didn't cost an arm and a leg to just get off your roster. So, and even Mac Jones has said, like, this is clearly Brock's team. I'm just here to be, the other guy, the facilitator and assistants. But yeah, I think Brock Purdy is very much a system QB. He got paid because of the system he's in and the people that he's benefited to have around him. And I know I've said this before. It's like their window's closing tight. The more people they have to get rid of that were already a big tag because they're not going to be able to keep that same caliber of talent around Purdy, the more expensive he gets.
Agree. Okay. I like it.
Real quick, Coach. I have a bit of a follow-up question because obviously we don't know what these questions are going to be before the show. So now that I know this, I have a quick follow-up for Alex. Do you think that the Niners are regretting giving Purdy all that money?
Yes! It's easy. I'll answer it.
No, I do. I think they got kind of bullied into the market and the time and him being a free agent at the right time and didn't want to be the team that looks like, hey, we just went to a Super Bowl with this guy, but we're not going to pay him big money. But I think there's definitely buyer's remorse, especially right now.
It makes me laugh because the same people who are like, man, you got to give Purdy that money. He deserves it. They should have it. Are the same exact people who are like, man, the Niners, man, they shouldn't have given Purdy all that money.
It's great. I'm still waiting for. I feel like at least in the past 5+ years, every team has just been bullied into paying their guy because he's been somewhat decent there. Like I'm still waiting for a franchise to kind of, stand on business and be like, no, we're not, like, I'll pay you this is what I think's fair. Otherwise, like, go find it in the market with the quarterback, I should say. Giants obviously did that with Saquon. It's the wrong guy to do that to. But
that's running back though. But a little different.
Like these Purdy's and some of like even Lawrence and Murray. It's like these guys they're paid more than Mahomes, and it's like how if I was in that situation, it was my money, my business. Like I'd be like, why would I pay this guy more than the dude that's won all these Super Bowls? Like just because he's a free agent this year. Like, no, go find it somewhere else. Like,
the whole quarterback market is just we could do a whole show just on that.
It's really fear because just like everybody else knows, if you don't have a quarterback, you don't have anything. So it's more like I'm going to go with a guy that's B-, B+ versus going with a guy that's unproven, could be a C or D, that kind of thing.
Could be an A. He could also be an A. Yeah.
But it's a dice roll. Like, do you want to be assured of having a B? Like, it's like if the teacher comes to you and say, hey, you can roll a dice and either get an A or a D, or I'll just give you a B now, you can leave. A lot of people just
Yeah,
take the
man.
D and move on. You know,
For sure.
Well, I'll say the Vikings actually, to their point, they actually moved off of Darnold after what he did last year with the offense, with the receivers, and
Yeah.
they said we're banking on McCarthy, and McCarthy was on a rookie contract. I actually think that was a mistake. They could have bankrolled and then seen what they had with them, and then they would have had actually some trade bait with McCarthy if Darnold didn't work out or did work out. They would have had two prime quarterbacks, kind of like what the Chargers had when they got rid of Breeze. They had the other kid that was there, Rivers. So they could have dangled. So I think that to your point, the Vikings actually did move off, and we'll see if that was a mistake or not.
Well, early returns, it's looking like a bit of a mistake with how much Darnold's balling in Seattle. I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You
could have Jordan loved him. You know, you could have let him sit 3 years and really get acclimated to Kevin O'Connell's system, really get the experience from the sidelines, holding that clipboard and watching Darnold play. Because that's exactly what Darnold got, like a 3-year deal in Seattle. So he could have played those 3 years. And by the time Darnold's deal was done, either he's ready to play or you keep rolling with Darnold and you let him go. But again, you don't throw him out there when he's not ready.
Nobody misses Darnold more than Justin Jefferson. That man is,
Amen, brother.
Still doesn't have a touchdown this year. That is.
I think somebody has Justin Jefferson on those 19 or 20 fantasy football teams that we were talking about.
He's not like 3 or 4 of them. He is.
All right, so we're missing Dub D. I got one more question. So you got anybody jumping to take the last question?
I got it.
Okay,
I'm ready.
All right. So with the rash of injuries or just the, I guess you can say, carousel of things going on with kickers, we seen Justin Tucker working out, and through his suspension.
Wow. Oh, that's a hotbed.
Do you think that a team takes a chance on Justin Tucker when his suspension is up?
Damn.
I mean, what was the suspension? 8 games?
6, I think it was
6. Okay.
Up after
does he have any pending? I mean, he didn't have anything criminal, right? It was like all.
I think it was all civil.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to think of. I mean, the only team I could think of that needs a kicker is obviously Indy, with Schrader doing whatever, but they're also run by Irsay's daughters now. They might not be too keen to bring in a sexual assault guy, I don't know. I mean, I can't think of another team that needs a kicker, but
I can think of one.
Yeah, who?
The Browns.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy. Justin and Deshaun, that's crazy.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I mean, but my thing with that is, he's just a kicker. I don't think anyone's going to take that baggage.
Games. I'm sorry, 10 games. He's suspended for 10 games.
Okay.
Oh, damn. It's 10
but,
games?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty hefty, but I don't think anyone's going to take on that kind of PR baggage for a kicker. It's one thing for a quarterback who threw 4,000 plus yards and, 30 touchdowns in the team he was with, but a kicker who's already kind of on the wrong side of his career in terms of age, I don't see a team saying, you know what, let's do that.
So he's due for reinstatement on the 11th of November.
Gosh.
So
what do you call it? Veterans Day.
Veterans Day, yeah.
And he is a veteran.
He is?
Well, no. NFL veteran. Oh, hell no. As a true veteran.
Say, really?
Yeah, no, Justin Tucker can suck from under. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
But no, he's an NFL veteran. It was just the veteran
play on words.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So we don't think that Justin Tucker finds another gig on the 11th. Okay. Fair enough. All right.
It would just be poetic justice for him to go to the Browns. That's all.
Right?
That'd be crazy.
It's crazy because they also have Judkins and Bond who also had their own issues.
Watson's still on the roster.
On the roster.
People don't realize.
It's just what are the Browns doing? What do they assess?
God, man.
Well, they all know where all of the good pea joints are in different places around them.
Okay, all right, let's move on.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get to our fourth and final segment. So we got our hot take segments of the week. So any controversial takes, any hot button takes that you guys have,
I
let's
just
get
said
to it. You did.
Yeah.
You did. That's why I said the prime time to get to this segment as we wrap the show up here.
Tough to top that.
Yeah, I know, in many ways. So yeah, so indeed. All right, Archie, you got anything that's hot button burning in your psyche for this week or in general from what you've seen through 5 weeks?
Oh, my thing is I always like to go throw a hot take off, whether I truly believe it or not. I always like just firing stuff off just because it's fun. It's early in the year.
Throw crap against the wall, see if it sticks. I get
Yeah,
it.
exactly. And a few of them have stuck. I think last week I predicted the Saints to have that upset win over the Giants for whatever that's worth.
Yeah.
For this week, I'm gonna say that the New England Patriots. I'm going to say that the New England Patriots are going to win the AFC East.
Holy shit.
I thought you were about to say lose to the Saints.
No,
There it is. There it is.
that one deserves it. Look, I like Drake May. I love what they're building. I love the head coach. I think they are on, and I think for the Bills, it's been so long of sustained dominance over that division with just nothing to show for it in terms of actual hardware. And for a team like the Patriots, who dominated that division with tons of hardware to back it up, although none of the guys on that team were on those teams, but just as a franchise, you kind of feel a little bit better as a team knowing like, hey, they've owned us for the past, whatever it's been, 10 years or not 10 years, but might a little longer than that. Since Brady, exactly. So what, 8 years, maybe? I think eight or 6 years, whatever.
Almost a decade.
Almost
to a decade than not. How about that?
Right. So, through all of that, the Patriots are kind of looking at this like, it sucks, but they haven't won anything. They haven't been the cream of the crop of the entire NFL. They've owned this division, but the Chiefs, the Eagles, they've been, the upper echelon. I think, and with this win that the Patriots just got over them, I think it gives them a boost of confidence. I think Vrabel has these guys playing really well. They had, like we said, week 1 is almost like another preseason game. You're just still kind of figuring stuff out. So I think the Patriots, I don't believe it fully, but I'm planting that seed right now. I'll just say that.
Okay. All right. Captain Jack, you got anything else hot rolling through your
other than the P joints? Okay, there you go. I had to do a double slam. I would say that and it's coming up and I will be there in Green Bay for Monday night. So this is a kind of a future hot take.
Okay.
I think that the Packers will actually figure out what the heck, why are they playing as crappy as they are. They're going to beat the Eagles on that Monday night. Okay. I think that is going to happen because, again, it's a matter of, will the Eagles still be undefeated by then? That'll make it a
they already lost. Denver beat them last week. Denver beat them. They lost this week.
Yeah. There's no undefeated teams left.
Yeah, it's more undefeated.
Oh, Denver beat the Eagles?
Unfortunately.
They did.
Man, I apologize. I thought that everybody
got some calls to go their way. So
okay.
Yeah.
See, again, when I was looking at the last portion, I saw the Bucks won, and so I didn't even see that. So I would say that the Packers will beat the Eagles. I will also say for all you people that are trying to figure out what's going on in Vegas, I think that if the crap continues to roll, that Pete Carroll is going to be told behind the scenes, yeah, you need to just step away. Just step away from the game, because they're not going to fire him as bad as things have been, but they're going to say, hey, appreciate what you did for us, but take a powder and just say it's for medical reasons or be with the family, or it wasn't what you thought it was going to be. It might not be a hot take, but I think it's going to happen that way in that respect.
Fair enough. Okay. Alex, what you got over there? Bubbling, steaming in your tea kettle over there.
Well, my hot take last week was that the Patriots were going to hand the Bills
You
their
did-
first
you did call
loss.
that one. You did call that one, yes.
And yeah, that did look nice. So my hot take for this week in the same regard, we're going to see if I get on a little streak here. But I got, and we were maybe a little foreshadowing for how much we were just dumping on him, but I got Dylan Gabriel and the
Oh.
Cleveland Browns beating the Steelers
Wow.
in Pittsburgh.
Oh, shit. Wow.
Damn.
Yeah. It's spicy here today,
That's
boy.
a nice one, you know.
That's
But
spicy
it's
love.
mainly because like Cleveland's defense has been unreal. I
Yes,
think they
yes.
finally get after Aaron Rodgers, test him a little bit. He hasn't had to play. I think the Vikings were probably the toughest defense he's played, and that was an overseas game. It's like anything can happen in those settings.
Yeah.
So this is kind of his first true test on American soil against a divisional opponent who has a very stout defense. I think as long as Dylan Gabriel manages the game well and Judkins rushes, like the Browns could win that pretty easily.
Wow. Okay. Fair enough.
Coach, you got anything?
It's interesting. I'm just looking at like the Titans and the Raiders play this week. Woof, that's it.
You can go ahead and dump. Everybody else says.
Ooh. Yeah.
Will Gino throw a pick or not? That's
Oh, dude, he threw one on the show. I told you he's up to 10 now. Come on,
like
man.
Just like
I
the
gotta
Raiders
keep
give up
up.
another touchdown. I got you. I'm curious about Joe Flacco being in Cincy. Like, it just might be. I guess you could say it's coincidental. It could be a coincidence in regards to backup quarterbacks. But every time a backup quarterback plays in the last 2 years, they always win their first game, for the most part.
right.
So,
Especially if they play the Raiders.
well, could Cincy upset Green Bay in Green Bay with Joe Flacco being a quarterback? Did it happen?
With the Browns beating Green Bay, nothing is out of. I mean,
I did
Flacco-
see someone tweet that we're about to lose to Flacco twice in a year.
I was just gonna say, Flacco has a chance to do the best thing ever.
Well, that's
On
it.
short
That's
notice.
a hot one. That's a hot one.
Yeah.
Flacco beats the Packers twice in the season.
You know what, Coach? You sold me.
I'm
Bengals
with
are winning it. I'm with it.
Cue it up.
Let's go.
That's a 1:00 game. I can kind of look at that while I'm getting ready for mine.
It's the same time as yours.
Ah,
3:25.
Yeah, it's
Sorry.
4 o'clock. Yep, 4 o'clock. Yep.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm on
oh,
Central
dude.
Time. Sorry.
But yeah, true indeed. But yeah,
4:25.
4:25 Eastern. Yes, indeed. So yeah, Joe Flacco goes into Green Bay twice in the season and beats the Packers.
That would be
That'd be unreal.
It
the
would be
icing
over.
on
You
this.
think they start him after just now? I mean, they just got him too.
Yeah, the baddest Browning look. Yes,
That's
hell yeah.
true. Yeah, it's
What,
fair.
Hell
what training does Flacco need? Dude's gonna stroll in there and be like, "All right, I'm gonna throw it
Got this.
deep, and we got."
Jamar, just run it deep. I always think of that video of Stafford in Detroit. He's like, Calvin, just get down there. Like,
Right,
that's the
right.
game plan.
That
He's
is
gonna
it.
look at T and
You
Chase and be like, "Hey guys,
just like Novocaine, man. Just like Novocaine. Just keep running it. It works.
Yep.
There you go.
I love
All
it.
right.
I love it."
So yes, Flacco wins twice in Green Bay. The Packers get up. Excuse me, not the Packers, but the Pittsburgh Steelers get upset. That was another one. What was yours, RG? No, it was
Pats win in the East.
Pats win in the East.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I think that, especially since they beat them in Buffalo, it comes down to it.
It's looking good.
It's not
That might
far-fetched.
happen. I can see that one happening.
That's not far fetched. Okay, and outside of Cap's alternative lifestyle,
What?
your pee hole conversation. That's a whole different. That's a whole different channel. That's a whole different.
That's after dark, man. We missed the
Exactly.
opportunity on that
Exactly.
one.
Now you're picking up what I put down. Exactly. So yes. Outside of that, I guess yours is kind of lukewarm though, Cap. It wasn't as hot as ours, but yeah, it's an interesting one.
Well,
Yeah,
the P one was hot. It was just that it wasn't good for this segment.
exactly.
Different
That
kind.
is very true. That is very
Kind of hot.
fair enough. Fair enough.
That was hot, like go to the clinic hot.
There it is, and there it is. Okay. All right, man. I think we did it, man. I think we got it. I think we got it done.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah. All right, so that's gonna wrap up the Lockdown Blitz for this week. As always, we're here each and every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Apologize for the late delays, a little bit of technical difficulties, and a little bit of wires crossed. But hit that subscribe button as always on the Locked On Divas Sports Network for all things NFL here. We drop content each and every week, as well as our live show on Tuesday nights. Please do that. If you're looking for the Hit Squad, here's their socials. Coach Mike Dub, our Commanders Insider. Here's their socials. Alex, the Chiefs Insider. There's his. Young RG, Robert Garcia, the Chargers Insider. There's his information. NFL Nation Live crew, Ref Guru. If you're looking for any NFL-related referee questions, hit him up on Twitter. Violator, the Raiders superfan. If you're looking for him and any Raiders news, please hit him up. Captain Jack Rackham, as always. Hit him on Twitter, Instagram, or YouTube. The Raiders superfan. He have anything historical and current for Raiders knowledge. So hit him up if you need to do that. And if you're looking for the Lockdown Divas Sports Network in its entirety, hit us up on any social media platforms that you use. Lockdown Divas Sports on all platforms except for Twitter. It's Lockdown Defense. Hit us up there. Like I said, hit that subscribe button on the YouTube channel to get our algorithm numbers up, and we hope to get that to a higher and deeper depth. We appreciate that. And if you're looking for any subsidiary channels, the Electric Shop Podcast is available for you for all Chargers news. Myself and Young RG do content on that channel regularly, so please hit us up there. And if you're looking for fantasy football advice,
there you go. For all you guys that play 20 friggin' leagues, this is what you need to watch.
Yes, sir.
Indeed. The Lightning Fast Fantasy Football Podcast is live and direct. Lightning Fast FF on all platforms. We're there and available on any social media platforms as well as YouTube. Hit that subscribe button on that channel as well. We will be doing a live show tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right there on Lightning Fast YouTube channel and on Instagram. So look out for that. But as always, man, we're going to be here right back next week, and hopefully we'll get the regular crew back and get everybody back in order. And we'll be right back for Week 6 news. So any final word before we get out of here?
Hey, I will say this, and I apologize because you brought up the Patriots. Next week, Mark Santos, who is the son of Gil Santos, the Patriots broadcaster from the 70s, I'm going to be interviewing him from like 8 o'clock Eastern time on Thursday, I believe. So if you want a good historical view of like Patriot stuff, and of course he's going to be talking Patriots Raiders, I know that doesn't bode well for Chargers and Chiefs fans, but if you want a good historical view of old football from like the 70s from a guy being the son of Gil Santos, a lot of memories of when the Patriots were, a unique club. And when you're the son of somebody that's very well thought of, be a great thing to get that history that the old dude knows and knows too.
Okay. Well, yeah, check that out on Captain Jack's YouTube channel next Thursday at what time, Cap?
It's going to be around 8 o'clock if all things go well. 8 o'clock Eastern next Thursday. There
you go. All right, there it is. Okay. All right, so in the meantime, between time, that is Young RG, Robert Garcia. That is Captain Jack Rackham. That is Alex Givens, the real AG. And I am Coach Defense, and we'll be back next week with another show. But until then, you got to remember to step up and lock it down.